been said that Mr. Andre Dopwell of Logistical Solution Company, Inc. is the half-brother of the Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre. This is so. But let me first of all state that there is no law which precludes a person or his business from doing business with a statutory board or ministry. I have spoken with the Honorable Minister, and he has also written to me. The facts are that Minister McIntyre had and has no involvement whatsoever with Logistical Supply Solutions, Inc. Never dealt with Logistical Solutions or Andre Dopwell regarding the supply of the beans or any other commodity, and never used his office as a minister to secure a personal gain for himself, Andre Dopwell, or Logistical Supply Solutions, Inc. And has no involvement whatsoever with McIntyre had and has no involvement that Minister McIntyre.
In February of 2007, the Minister of Agriculture was Colin McIntyre. So please, before we go deeper into this and we get it all wrong, if I don't know what I'm talking about, please call and correct me. Any further information needed, please do not hesitate to give me a call at 610-636-6763. Thanks again. Signed, Andre Dopwell. The invoice in question is for 1,050 kilogram bags of NPK 6824 at a price of $27.75, thereabout. Another 1,000 bags of NPK 15-15-15, $29.50. Another 1,000 bags of ammonium phosphate 50 kilogram bags of ammonium phosphate, $38.25. And there was a quantity of 225 50-gram bags of organic fertilizer. The price of that was $64.50. Let me say to you that this is Mr. Dopwell supplying fertilizer to the Ministry of Agriculture while his brother Colin was the Minister of Agriculture. The note on the invoice, consistent with the cover letter we just read, make check payable to Mr. Andre Dopwell. Although the invoice comes in the name of Logistical Supply Solutions, Inc., the note on the invoice and the cover note as well are specific. Make check payable to Andre Dopwell. The Ministry of Agriculture approved a payment of equivalent to $299,006.86. Write that down. $299,006.86. Yet, Mr. McIntyre had no knowledge that a gentleman called Andre Dopwell, who is supposed to be his half-brother, was supplying thousands of 50-gram bags of fertilizer to the ministry that he was responsible for. At least that's what Mrs. Scared would have us believe. You probably should not be surprised. He is Minister of Diaspora Affairs and did nothing about diaspora for years until recently a conference was held by patriots in New York, and he came out talking some absolute nonsense about who wants to run the country by remote control, etc. So you're not surprised that the gentleman seems not to know whether he's coming or going, whether he's sitting or standing with what's happening around him. But it is inconceivable that 3,225 bags of 50-gram fertilizer, which cost the taxpayers of this country $300,000, could be ordered by the Ministry of Agriculture, and the minister knew nothing about it, especially since the supplier of the fertilizer was his own brother. I put that to you for your consideration, but I also want to tell you that this particular fertilizer transaction, and I'm deliberately dealing with this particular fertilizer transaction and no others, even though there are more that merit our consideration. Some of the documentation that I have been privileged to see have been passed to our blue ribbon team of forensic investigators overseas, who will be kind enough to submit their feedback, which will guide precisely what we will do with these documents. But I want to pay attention to this particular invoice, this particular $300,000 invoice, and this particular invoice only for the time being, because it will permit me to ask some pertinent questions to which the public has a right to know, and to which the public should hear, not from Lennox Linton, but from their government. The order, as we said, was for 3,000 bags of fertilizer, chemical mix, and 225 bags of organic fertilizer. We did some checking. Mr. Dopwell billed the government the chemical fertilizer at $31.83 US per bag. The market price at the time was in the region of $22.65. Mr. Dopwell invoiced the physical fertilizer at $64.50 per 50 kilogram bag. The market price at the time was $25.85. Those were prices available to the government of Dominica, to people ordering fertilizer, bringing them into Dominica. We did a survey and we came up with these reasonable prices in the market. So again, consistent with what appears to be the modus operandi of this Dopwell gentleman, the state was overcharged. $9.18 US per 50 gram bag of chemical fertilizer, and $38.65 US per 50 gram bag of physical fertilizer. We overpaid based on the market price and the invoice that was received and against which payment was made. $27,550 US on the chemical fertilizer, and $8,696.25 on the physical fertilizer, a total amount of $36,246.25 US, which translates into $98,477.44 EC. So we were overcharged again. But it gets worse. On this relatively small shipment, where the importers, the government of Dominica, the Ministry of Agriculture, was expecting 6 20-foot containers, only 4 containers were received, and the customs had no choice but to revalue the shipment. The shipment that we paid $299,006.86 for was revalued on receipt in Dominica at $199,337.91. So we were shortchanged after we were overcharged by $97,477.44. We were then shortchanged $99,668.95 for a total hit on this one transaction of $198,146.39.